Week 12, we have arrived, baby. Waiver wires, hot and heavy. Chaos in the streets. It's apocalypse. Everything's going down. People don't have players to start. We're talking about these fun players on Reddit that you've never heard of. This is the life of the fantasy content creator of the Fantasy Football universe. It is myself. Hashtag I need more Elijah and Mr. Hashtag risk it all on another T Hill. How you doing today, Jeremy?
Yeah, if Taysom Hill's available, I might go get me some Nate Adkins. Guys talk about guys you never heard of. I had to Google his name again just to make sure that was his actual name. I won't be doing that with Nate Adkins, but I will be going after the other T Hill. Risk it all, baby. All my fab. Dump it. Let's go.
Yeah, he's still only rostered 52% of leagues, so you definitely have a shot, folks. Like, I'm surprised, but hey, it is what it is. Like, I'm surprised Jonnu Smith has more roster than Taysom Hill, but people love Jonnu Smith apparently. I guess it's 2024. Who knows what's going on in these streets these days? All right, let's go to the waiver wires because we'll get started on the quarterbacks first. The 0-25% of the deeper leagues. The top guy I have listed is Drake Maye. No surprise, I'm a Drake Maye fan. He's been really good. If you look at this season through the games he started, he's 10th in completion percentage over expectation and 13th in QBR. And he left early in a game. If you count all the games he has played fully, he's QB9 on the season, 18.36 fantasy points. Like, I get it. Like, the schedule's not the best in the world, but Drake May's been really good for you. So, obviously, if you can't get Bo Nix and those guys, I think Drake May is a really good option moving forward, even though schedule's not the best.
Not bad, though.
Yeah, I mean, it's usually in the first hand, like, he's been really, really good. The other guys in that range, if you want to go with a juicy matchup, Tommy DeVito, 3%. He's going up against the best matchup, the Buccaneers. I understand it if you want to go this week with DeVito, but just DeVito is not a very good quarterback. There's inherent risk with that. You could go Jameis Winston this week as well, too. Don't really want to go. That's a bad matchup for Jameis Winston, but he's going to sling the rock. It is what it is. And the last guy's Will Levis in that range. If you can't go Drake Maye, who would you go of this kind of lower rostered guys? Would you go Levis? Would you go Winston? Or would you go DeVito?
Probably Winston, just because we know that the volume is going to be there. He's slinging it. So give me the guy with the guaranteed volume that could stumble easily into 3 touchdowns. He's already done it once this season in his limited work, right? With Tommy DeVito, his game log won't come up. Oh, here we go. So he's got nope, that is not the right game log. Oh, he's got Tampa and Dallas, then New Orleans, Baltimore. Yeah, this is why I wanted Daniel Jones.
Yes.
I saw an interesting thing on Twitter. I don't know if it's Andrew Cooper or it was somebody who was highlighting the fact that if Drew Lock plays 7 games this season, his bonuses kick in based on the percentage of the season that he plays. So the theory was, well, maybe they're just throwing Tommy DeVito out there, for 1 game or 2 or 3, but he won't be the long-term answer. We know he's not the long-term answer, but here's my theory. I thought that was interesting. Here's my theory. I think Tommy DeVito, number 1, sells tickets, right?
Yep.
We love him in New York, Tommy DeVito. Number 2, I think Tommy DeVito is at least a fun storyline that the Giants can kind of ride with their PR department as they're tanking. And then number 3, here's the real situation. Daniel Jones is likely done in New York. It's much better to get him out than to start all of this. Like, is Daniel Jones right now better than the rookie that they brought in? Right. You don't want that in your locker room next season. We assume the Giants are going to draft a quarterback. So you need to decide if it's going to be Drew Lock with what you're paying Drew Lock as your backup quarterback, or if it's going to be the cheap as hell Tommy DeVito. So why not throw him out there for a month, month and a half? Why not? And see if he has what it takes to be a cheap backup quarterback. My guess is no, but why not? What else are you doing?
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of the Pastronaut, Josh Dobbs last year. Like, he has these little he has that month-long window where it's good and then it's going to go sour. This is going to happen with DeVito, but last year DeVito lost them a top pick. Like, he was too good in his starts and they won games they didn't need to. So I'm surprised why everyone's so passionate about DeVito in New York. I get it, it's a fun story and stuff, but this could happen again if he wins more games from you. You got to get him out of there because he's going to cost them a high pick. So it's interesting to think about, but yeah, they clearly don't want to pay Drew Lock that extra money because I don't blame him either. I wouldn't want to too. If I was running the team, I'd be like, nope, sorry, you can't play 7 games this year, so we'll see. So
get out.
So I mean, they got this is I think this will be there's 7 games remaining in the season for them, so they might play and then they might go to Drew Lock after that. We'll see. They could play that stuff because you see this in all sports and leagues about that. Let's go to the middle tier, guys. Obviously, we had a guy come back, just give us the game of his life, and Anthony Richardson. He's only rostered in 44% of leagues. I will say this: if you can get Anthony Richardson, go get Anthony Richardson. Like I enjoy Drake May and all that stuff, but like the ceiling shot, if you want to do it, Anthony Richardson. Now the case for the Jets is their defense is atrocious right now. Like they are playing horribly,
so bad.
They have fallen just face planted. So I do want to see Richardson in this matchup this week. It is a more difficult matchup for him. We'll see if it works out as well. I don't know if it's going to, but like Steichen's a good coach. You know what you have there. Like I think it's going to work out for him the rest of the season because that was by far the best he looked. It's Detroit though. Detroit has good metrics, even though they give a ton of passing yards and that sort of stuff. So could be a good game for him, even though they could get blown out. So I like him. The other guys in this range are, I do not have them listed, so I don't mind. Well, I will fumble through them because I did not put them there. They got deleted. All right, so they're not in the article. So yeah, I'm gonna say Anthony Richardson is the one guy you must get in the waivers. I was like, wait a second, we're missing all the guys. The weird thing we're seeing with Sleeper a lot now is like the rostership percentages are drifting. So like tight ends, there's nobody in this middle area, and it's kind of happening with quarterbacks. It's all like super low percentage or really high percentage. So I'm almost tempted to like change how we do these waiver articles because really a lot of guys just are not fitting into these categories anymore because it's basically like 14% roster is all these low guys, and then it's the guys that are up kind of higher. So it's interesting to see. But
how much? And also, I was gonna say also with quarterback, you're looking really heavily at the matchups here and figuring out who you can stream. And if you can take two guys, like I said, Nix and Darnold, I haven't done the comparison. I just did it loosely, and I like those two options. But if Richardson fits better where those 3 games, I know that I don't want to play Sam Darnold, and I can play Richardson right in there, I'll just roster those two guys and flip-flop. If somebody pops up on the wire, if Bo Nix gets dropped because he has a bad week or two, I'll grab him. So, there's an interesting way to do that. But at this stage of the game, you know where you are, you know what you're doing, and quarterback's more of a streamable option in single QB.
100%. Like there's a lot of guys above 50% threshold, which is like the next tier of guys we'll talk about. There's a lot of quality options in there. And I mean, after this week, once waivers clear, Richardson's going to skyrocket in value too. So he's going to join this group as well too. So, as you mentioned, Bo Nix, he's the top guy in shallow leagues. I mean, he's QB9 on the season. He's been really freaking good. The one thing I've noticed is the pace of play and what they're doing is strictly volume related for Bo Nix because his EPA and stuff's not good. But like he's 5th in pass attempts, he's 3rd in scrambles, he's 2nd in air yards. And they're like top 6 in pace of play. So this is just like the ideal fantasy run out for a quarterback. He doesn't have to be good. He's just getting all the volume in the world. And he gets the Raiders this week, right? Who are not good. So I would not be shocked to see him put up another top 12 performance. Bo Nix, like he seems like a much safer version of Anthony Richardson. The ceiling might not be as high, but it gets you close. The other guys in this range, there's a ton of them in here. Russell Wilson's at 56% roster. Geno Smith's at 56% roster. Tua's at 67% rostered. Aaron Rodgers at 56% rostered. So you'd see kind of everyone jumping up into the upper tier. If you is Bo Nix your top guy? And then I'll also say if you can't get Bo Nix, who would you go for instead?
Bo Nix is absolutely my top guy. I really want to say Aaron Rodgers. I can't say Aaron Rodgers. That team is abysmal. The problem is the schedule is so money, but he just did nothing. He was getting destroyed last week by Indy of all defenses, and they lost that game. I mean, absolutely atrocious from the Jets. Certainly, Aaron Rodgers is partially to blame. That offensive line is also to blame. The other guy that I want is Geno Smith. The schedule is not great because he faces Arizona twice in the next 3 weeks, which has been much, much better. Some of those guys, especially Budda Baker, but some of those younger guys in the linebacker core along the defensive line that they heavily invested in this last offseason are coming together. That defense is gelling to the point where they're looking really, really good. But he has the Jets in week 13. I mean, I'm absolutely going to fire him up in 2 weeks. He's got Green Bay in week 15, Minnesota. So Geno's schedule isn't great. At the same time, his weapons are healthy, and he knows what he has to deal with behind that offensive line. So as long as they can get the run game going, they can do some sort of things. And you can do this against Arizona. Arizona's played some terrible teams of late outside of San Francisco. I don't mind Geno Smith, but I really, really want Bo Nix.
Yeah, I'm with you. Like, I think he's a really good option. And like, if you can't get, like, if he's available, I'm surprised he is, but if he's available, he's a good run out. We have a question here about Purdy. Like, for you rest of the season, like, you could go with Purdy. Purdy's really good. I don't know really how much of an upgrade Bo Nix is for you, honestly. And if you're interested in carrying 2 quarterbacks, that's also the other thing, right? The schedule isn't great for San Francisco. They have some gauntlet games they have to go through the rest of the season because they were so good last year. They had the toughest schedule of the NFC West teams. Yeah. So if you look at their schedule the rest of the season, so if you want to play it like week to week with these guys and you want to shuffle him and Bo Nix with good matchups, bad matchups, or you go Anthony Richardson, do that. So if you're worried about it, I don't mind picking. I would just make a bid on both these guys, whoever you get for cheaper, and go from that. Like, I think that could work out for you. Obviously, I'm partial to Anthony Richardson just because the rushing and all that's there. But like Bo Nix has got a ton of scrambles and ton of yards too. So I think either one of those guys is fine for you to kind of pair with him if you're worried about Brock Purdy because some of these matchups are not great.
Yeah, I think the question is week 14, Purdy plays the Bears. We do not like the Bears matchup, but it's very possible Purdy can get there. One thing he hasn't had that he has had the last couple of weeks is Christian McCaffrey out of the backfield. That's only going to continue to get better for him, and that elevates Purdy's floor much more so than any other quarterback in the league. Maybe Jaden Daniels with Austin Eckler, but Christian McCaffrey is miles and miles better than that. That elevates his floor. So yeah, I'm not so worried about Purdy.
Yeah, McCaffrey's the GOAT for a reason. Like he does so much for you.